Okay. So students, yesterday we have understood the functions of management, and we have even learned that the all functions of management can be denoted by one word, and that word is POTSCOP. Let me take you to that particular slide first. Now, this is the slide which we discussed in the last lecture. POTSCOP, these are the functions of management. P stands for planning, O stands for organizing, D stands for directing, S stands for staffing, CO stands for coordinating as well as controlling, because both are very important functions. Then R stands for reporting and B stands for budgeting. So this question, if it is asked in the offline exam, it will be asked for 7.5 mark. So you have to write all the points, right? By reducing the explanation, but try to write all the points. Or let us say if the exams are online, then there are chances meaning of each and every function will be asked in the form of MCQs or the full form. Like, in the word POTSCOP, R stands for dash. So you have to reply R stands for reporting. So this is how these functions of management, somehow you have to keep in mind that POTSCOP is the acronym which is denoted the functions of management. Acronym means, when you are having all the points and you are just taking the first letter of each and every point, that is called as acronym. So from these functions, we are getting the word POTSCOP. So this is what we have learned yesterday. Now today we are going to learn a new concept that is called as scientific management theory. This is also called as SMT in short form. SMT, that is scientific management theory. As the word scientific is given, scientific means the some system which is applicable everywhere. Anything which is universally applicable, that system is called as a science. For example, every human being or every living being, they inhales oxygen and they exhale carbon dioxide. So ऐसा नहीं है कि सिर्फ इंडिया में लोग ऑक्सीजन लेते हैं, बाकी वर्ल्ड में कार्बन डाइऑक्साइड लेते हैं. नो, science says that everybody needs, every human living being requires oxygen. So that is applicable everywhere. Now here we are going to understand the concept of management in a scientific manner. That means we are going to learn that how to manage the things which are universally applicable. So the history of scientific management started somewhere in 1900. Now let us see that what actually scientific management theory is. Scientific management theory is also known as classical theory of management. Classical. That means the concept which is not, you can say, the very latest one, but it's a classical theory which is having its value and old concepts, not a very new concept, it's an old concept of theory, scientific management. And at the same time, this was invented or developed in early 1900 with an emphasis on increasing workers' productivity. Here we have to consider these points. Workers' productivity. The main focus was on increasing workers' productivity. If you consider the term productivity, productivity can be calculated as, here I'm just writing the formula, P stands for productivity, equals to output divided by minimum input. When you are using minimum input to produce maximum output, it is called as productivity. That means by using the minimum resources, you are able to produce the maximum quantity of your product. That is called as productivity. Because it has been noticed that it is the worker who is responsible for the productivity, right? If the worker is not having any ambition, or he is not, having any interest, he just work for the getting wages and all, then he will not give you the productivity. He will not try his level best to produce maximum output by minimum input, but he will just, produce the goods without considering all these things. So here it was the period when there was need to understand why workers are behaving like that, why they do not think about the organization and the company where they are working. They are just working for the sake of getting wages from that. So that was the thing which was kept in mind, and emphasis was given on increasing workers' productivity. That means the try was given that maximum output should come by applying minimum input. कम से कम रॉ मटेरियल यूज करके या कम से कम वेस्टेजेस करके आपको मैक्सिमम आउटपुट प्रोड्यूस करना है, फिनिश गुड्स प्रोड्यूस करने हैं, ताकि कस्टमर्स उन चीजों को खरीदें और कंपनी को ज्यादा से ज्यादा फायदा हो. Now this was introduced in the year somewhere in 1900. 1900 means this was the period when machines have been introduced, and machines were working on at the place of human being. So obviously the production was more. That means, more production could have been produced, but the human being, the human involvement was not very much effective. So there was need for this theory. So you can say that this theory was invented to increase the workers' productivity. That was the main focus of this theory. Now let us understand who has invented this theory and how and what he wanted to say. The SMT owes its origin to Frederick Winslow Taylor. This is a picture of F.W. Taylor. He was responsible for inventing the SMT, scientific management theory. That's why we call him as a father of scientific management theory. By qualification, he was an engineer. He was not a manager at all. इसका जो बैकग्राउंड था वो साइंस का बैकग्राउंड था, और ये एक इंजीनियर थे. Engineer means he was knowing the machines, and also he was knowing that the capacity of production of machine is very high, but due to non-involvement of human being in the production work, the productivity is not as per the remark. So his primary concern was to increase the productivity through the application of scientific methods and increased pay for workers. He has made a balance between these two. What he said, that there should be some scientific methods for production, and at the same time, the increased pay for workers is also important. He has identified that these are the monetary incentives or monetary beneficial factors which are motivating the workers. इसके हिसाब से अगर वर्कर्स को हम ज्यादा पे देते हैं ज्यादा काम करने के लिए, तो जाहिर सी बात है वो ज्यादा काम करेगा. Let us say if you are getting hired in any organization and some work is given to you, and your time is getting over, like 5 o'clock you have to start for your home, okay, and your manager is saying that if you are waiting for 2 hours more and finishing this work, then I will give you overtime, right? What he is saying, that if you are waiting for 2 hours more and finishing this particular work or task which I have given it to you, then I will pay you overtime. That means more money will be given to you. I'm 100% sure you will not say no unless any important work is there. Generally, every day we don't have very important or urgent work, right? So you may say that, okay, sir, I'm waiting for 2 hours more and I will finish this work. That means you are looking for higher pay for the extra work, and everybody looks for that. अगर मैं ऐसा रहूंगा तो मैं भी यही बोलूंगा कि अगर मैं ज्यादा टाइम बैठ रहा हूँ, ज्यादा काम कर रहा हूँ, तो मुझे ज्यादा मिलना ही चाहिए ना, पैसा जो भी मुझे मिल रहा है. So F.W. Taylor has identified that thing. F.W. Taylor said that you have to apply some scientific methods to get the work done, and you increase the pay for the workers. If you are doing in this way, 101% the productivity will get increased. That means every worker will try to give you maximum output for minimum input. यही तो चाहिए था, आपको ज्यादा से ज्यादा आउटपुट चाहिए by applying minimum input, and this is how you can increase the productivity. This is what FW Taylor said, and he has mentioned also in his theory. उसने अपनी थियरी को जब लिखा था तब उसने ये सारी बातें क्लियरली लिखी थी, क्योंकि हर चीज का उसने प्रूफ बनाया था। हर चीज जो उसने मेंशन करी थी अपने रिसर्च में, हर जगह पे उसने बताया था कि ये प्रूव कहाँ से हो रहा है, ऐसा ही रैंडमली कोई चीज नहीं बताई थी। बिकॉज ही वॉज हैविंग साइंस बैकग्राउंड, he was an engineer, so he was thinking from that point of view, and he explained the future managers that how they can solve this problem, right? So that was about the, who has invented the scientific management theory and what is the meaning of that. Now let us understand what exactly he wanted to give the message. So the contribution of FW Taylor to scientific management can be broadly divided into two groups. इसने जो थियरी बनाई थी इसको दो पार्ट्स में समझा जा सकता है. The first part is principles of scientific management, and the second part is techniques of scientific management. As far as the word principle is concerned, principles means the rules. He has given certain rules to be followed to bring the maximum output for minimum input. He has given certain rules, he has given certain ideas of scientific management. That means जो भी उसने rules बताए थे वो universally applicable है, हर जगह पे applicable है, और इसका एक साइंटिफिक कैलकुलेशंस भी बताया कि ये किस तरह से आपको फायदा पहुंचाएगा. नथिंग वॉज गिवन इन द इमेजिनरी फॉर्म or from randomly thought. It was well proved and well explained principles have been given. Then another part में he has explained techniques of scientific management. यहाँ पे उसने कुछ methods बताए, उसने कुछ ऐसे methods बताए कि आपको काम किस तरह से निकलवाना है, अपने वर्कर्स को किस तरह से आप कन्विंस कर सकते हो ज्यादा प्रोडक्शंस के लिए. दैट इज कॉल्ड एज टेक्निक्स. उसने कुछ मेथड्स बताए और यूरोप में ये मेथड्स ने बहुत काम किया. इनिशियली थोड़ा प्रॉब्लम आया था, बाद में कुछ वर्कर्स ने ऑब्जेक्शन लिया, फिर यूनियन ने भी ऑब्जेक्शन लिया. ये सारे प्रॉब्लम्स आए थे यूरोप में, पर ये प्रॉब्लम काफी हद तक सॉल्व भी हुआ था और आज भी लोग इस थियरी को अप्लाई करते हैं. Today we are in 2021. That means almost 125 years हो गया इस particular theory को invent होके. Even today we are using this because it is having scientific background. Now ये जो दो parts उसके theory के हैं, principles और techniques, इसको हम समझने की कोशिश करते हैं कि FW टेलर ने ऐसे कौन से principles दिए थे जो आज follow करने पर हमें फायदा होता है. क्या क्या rules बताए थे. पहला रूल बताया था डेवलपमेंट ऑफ ट्रू साइंस ऑफ मैनेजमेंट. दैट मींस ही सेड दैट randomly you should not come out with any kind of decision or policy of management. You have to have some reason for introducing some system. मैनेजमेंट अगर कोई नया सिस्टम इन्वेंट करता है या इंट्रोड्यूस करता है तो वो एक प्रूफ के ऊपर डिपेंड होना चाहिए, कुछ ना कुछ उसका एक लॉजिकल रीजन होना चाहिए. ऐसा नहीं है कि आज के आज ही मैनेजर ने डिसाइड कर लिया कि कल से ना सब लोग 8 बजे आएंगे, 9 बजे के जगह पे सबको 8 बजे आना है. अरे 8 बजे क्यों आना है, 1 आवर अर्ली क्यों बुला रहे हो, उससे क्या होगा, क्या अगर 1 घंटा जल्दी बुलाया तो क्या 1 घंटा जल्दी जाने देंगे क्या. ये सारे सवाल उठेंगे उन लोगों के मन में जो ये रूल को फॉलो करने वाले हैं. So FW Taylor said that when you are following the management, you have to have a true science for that. Whatever strategies you are applying, whatever policies you are applying, whatever planning you are doing, everything should be based on some calculations. उसके लिए कुछ ना कुछ आपके पास लॉजिक होना चाहिए. That is called as true science. आप किसी से काम निकलवा रहे हो तो उसके पीछे भी एक साइंस होना चाहिए, आप किस तरह से काम करवा रहे हो, right? So you have to think in that manner and then only you can implement the policies That was the very first principle given by F.W. Taylor. Then the second was scientific selection of workers. साइंटिफिक सिलेक्शन ऑफ वर्कर्स को अगर हम सिंपल लैंग्वेज में डिपेंड करेंगे तो दैट विल बी अपॉइंटिंग राइट पर्सन फॉर राइट जॉब और पोस्ट. That means whenever you are appointing the person for any job or post, you have to appoint the right person. Right person का यहाँ पे meaning आ जाता है the person who is able to handle it. See, you may come across with many people. Some people are very introvert. आप में से कई सारे ऐसे स्टूडेंट्स रहेंगे जो इंट्रोवर्ट हैं, मतलब ज्यादा किसी से बात नहीं करते हैं, ज्यादा मतलब इन्वॉल्व नहीं होते हैं, शर्माते हैं. और अगर किसी और से बात करनी होगी ना, टीचर वगैरह से, तो अपने फ्रेंड को साथ में लेके जाते हैं. आपने भी कई बार किया होगा. when you are supposed to talk to principal or HOD or any person, you are taking with your friends with you, and then through your friends you are talking. That means you are very introvert, right? Many people are like that, and many people are very bold also. They talk bluntly, openly. They talk that I am having this complaint and you are not listening this problem and all. So they are very bold. Some people are having communication skill to convince the others. Some people are not having. Some people may be very good in writing, but they are not very good in talking. So everyone is having their own quality. So over here, F.W. Taylor suggested that there should be scientific selection of workers. You analyze the workers' qualities, their skill, their efficiency, and based on the skill, you give them the job. अगर कोई पर्सन कंप्यूटर ऑपरेशन में अच्छा है, एक्सेल अच्छा आता है, तो आप उसे वही काम दे दो, क्योंकि उसे अगर आपने दूसरा काम दिया तो वो करेगा नहीं ठीक से. अगर कोई पर्सन कैलकुलेशन में अच्छा है तो उसे अकाउंट्स का या कैश का काउंटर दे दो, क्योंकि वो बाकी काम नहीं कर पाएगा. और अगर कोई बंदा ऐसा है जो ज्यादा बात नहीं करता है लेकिन उसको टेबल जॉब अच्छा लगता है, तो आप उसको क्लरिकल का काम दे दो, वो खुश रहेगा, वहां पे अच्छे से काम करेगा. दैट इज कॉल्ड एज साइंटिफिक सिलेक्शन ऑफ वर्कर्स. That means he said that whenever you are appointing the person, you see that you are appointing right person for the right job or the post. That is called as scientific selection of the workers. तो ये हो गया उसका second principle. Then third principle में he said that scientific training and development of workers. That means after appointing the people, if you feel that some workers requires some training or some development program, only that much training should be given to that person. If you are giving them more training, that will be of no use. अगर किसी पर्सन को ऑलरेडी कंप्यूटर का नॉलेज है, उसे आता है चलाने, वो अच्छा भी है, तो आप वापस से उसको ट्रेनिंग में भेज दोगे कंप्यूटर के, तो वो बोर हो जाएगा और वो वेस्टेज ऑफ टाइम और मनी भी हो जाएगा कंपनी के लिए, क्योंकि एक वर्कर आपका कंप्यूटर ही सीखता रहता है जबकि उसको आता है. तो आपको क्या करना है, आइडेंटिफाई करना है दैट who requires what kind of training for development, and then only you give them the training. That is called as scientific training and development of workers. You identify the people and accordingly you give them the training. That was the another principle given by F.W. Taylor. Then the next principle was close cooperation between management and workers. Here he said that there should be always and always good relations between superiors and subordinates. Always and always see that a good relationship is maintained between superior and subordinate. If they are not having good relations, then your work will not get done. अगर सुपीरियर हमेशा चिल्लाता रहता है सबॉर्डिनेट्स के ऊपर, सबॉर्डिनेट सुपीरियर की बात नहीं सुनते हैं, तो आपका ये जितना भी काम है ये पूरा इन वेन हो जाएगा, वेस्ट हो जाएगा. So he suggested that there should be close cooperation between management and workers. Management should listen to the workers' problem. Management should solve the workers' problem. Then only they will feel to work for you. Otherwise, whatever objectives you are having, you will never be in a position to achieve it. That was the fourth principle which was given by F.W. Taylor to managers. Then he said that maximum output in place of restricted output. He said that you never make any kind of restrictions on output. अगर आपकी मशीन की कैपेसिटी है 10,000 यूनिट्स बनाना, तो आप उससे कम का प्रोविजन रखो ही मत। आप कोशिश करो कि सारा का सारा 10,000 यूनिट्स बन रहा है, क्योंकि कई सारे रीजंस हो सकते हैं आपके पास रॉ मटेरियल नहीं है, जिसकी वजह से आप मशीन की कैपेसिटी यूज नहीं कर पाते हो सकता है वर्कर्स नहीं है, नए वर्कर्स जो मशीन को ऑपरेट करें। हो सकता है आपके पास पैसा नहीं है कि आप गोडाउन खरीद के मटेरियल वहां पे रख सको। देयर मे बी सो मेनी रीजंस फॉर दैट, फॉर नॉट यूजिंग द 100% कैपेसिटी or output level of machine. So what FW Taylor said that you never make restrictions. You go for always and always maximum output by solving all the problems. Then only you will get the success. नहीं तो हर एक ऑर्गेनाइजेशन में क्या होगा, वो बोलेंगे हाँ ये प्रॉब्लम है, वर्कर्स नहीं है, पैसा नहीं है, तो हम इतनी प्रोडक्शन कैसे करें। अगर ऐसा सोच के चलेंगे तो कभी भी फायदा नहीं होगा। So he said that you never do that. You never make any restrictions on the output, but you go for maximum output. And the last function, last principle, which he said that there should be division of work, right? He said that you divide the work among the workers and see that the same work is done by the workers for over a period of time, right? He said that you give them the work and see that for a longer period of time the same work is done by the same worker, so that they will become specialized in that. अगर आप एक लंबे समय तक एक ही काम कर रहे हो तो आप कहीं ना कहीं पे उसमें एक्सपर्ट बन जाओगे, और एक बार आप एक्सपर्ट बन गए तो वहां पे आपका वेस्टेज ऑफ टाइम नहीं रहेगा, एफिशिएंसी ज्यादा अच्छी आ जाएगी और ओवरऑल क्वालिटी बढ़ जाएगी प्रोडक्ट की। So this is what he said, that there should be division of work. So these are the principles of scientific management which was suggested by F.W. Taylor. And you know every company, let it be small scale or large scale, they are following these principles very very religiously, very honestly. They are following this particular principles given by F.W. Taylor to get the success for their organization. तो ये तो हो गया एक पार्ट, फर्स्ट पार्ट ऑफ थियरी, जहां पे उसने प्रिंसिपल्स बताए और एक जगह पे उसने ना टेक्निक्स दी, मेथड्स बताया कि काम करवाना कैसे है। पहले तो उसने खाली थियरी बताया कि आपको ना ये सारी चीजों का ध्यान रखना है, लेकिन एक जगह पे आके ना उसने कुछ टेक्निक्स बताए थे। ये कुछ टेक्निक्स हैं, देयर आर 4 टेक्निक्स। टेक्निक नंबर 1 इज परफॉर्मेंस स्टैंडर्ड्स, टेक्निक नंबर 2 इज डिफरेंशियल पीस रेट सिस्टम, टेक्निक नंबर 4 इज फंक्शनल फोरमैनशिप, एंड देन मेंटल रिवॉल्यूशन। अब एफ.डब्ल्यू. टेलर ने पहली टेक्निक में क्या बताया, परफॉर्मेंस स्टैंडर्ड्स में, ही सेड दैट ऑल द मैनेजर्स शुड फिक्स द स्टैंडर्ड्स ऑफ द प्रोडक्ट्स। साइंटिफिकली हर एक मैनेजर को ये फिक्स करना है कि एक वर्कर एक दिन में मिनिमम कितने यूनिट्स बनाना चाहिए। दैट इज कॉल्ड एज परफॉर्मेंस स्टैंडर्ड्स, fixing in advance that how many units can be produced by the workers by using scientific method। ऐसा नहीं रैंडमली कुछ डिसाइड नहीं करना है कि हाँ एक दिन में सभी को 200 यूनिट्स बनाने हैं, आज 300 बनाने हैं, ऐसा रैंडमली नहीं बोलना है। यू हैव टू हैव सम साइंटिफिक कैलकुलेशंस। आप ये देखना है कि एक यूनिट बनाने के लिए टाइम कितना लगता है, वर्कर की एफिशिएंसी कितनी है, वर्कर कितने आवर्स के लिए मशीन पे रहता है, कितने आवर्स उसे रहना चाहिए। ये सारी चीजें ध्यान में रख के आप कैलकुलेट कर सकते हो कि एक वर्कर एक दिन में कितने यूनिट्स बना सकता है। दीज आर कॉल्ड एज परफॉर्मेंस स्टैंडर्ड, एंड every company is following this। every company, based on scientific calculations, they are calculating the performance standards. After calculating the performance standards, he said that you go for differential piece rate system। differential piece rate system का meaning रहता है you have to have the different payment system। differential piece rate system means different payment system। he said that if your worker is not producing the standard units, यहाँ पे आपने बताया ना कि एक वर्कर को मिनिमम कितने यूनिट्स बनाने हैं, तो ये कहता है कि अगर कोई वर्कर उतने यूनिट्स नहीं बनाया, आपने बोल दिया वर्कर को कि 100 यूनिट्स बनाने हैं, पर वो 100 नहीं बना पाया, 90 बना पाया, तो आप उसकी पेमेंट कम कर दो। उसको पेमेंट कम दो, लेकिन अगर किसी ने ज्यादा बना दिया तो उसे हाई दे दो, ज्यादा दे दो। दैट इज कॉल्ड एज डिफरेंशियल पीस रेट सिस्टम, राइट? द वर्कर हु इज प्रोड्यूसिंग less than the standard number of units, you pay him less, and the worker who's producing more should get the high wages. यहाँ पे मैं आपको एक एग्जांपल दे देता हूं। Let us say स्टैंडर्ड्स में बनाया 100 यूनिट्स at the rate of ₹10 per unit. That means एक मैनेजर कहता है कि एक वर्कर को हर रोज कम से कम 100 यूनिट्स बनाने हैं और हर यूनिट के पीछे वर्कर को ₹10 पे किया जाएगा। दैट मीन्स अगर वर्कर 100 यूनिट्स बना देगा तो उसे ₹1000 पेमेंट मिल जाएगा, बराबर। नाउ अगेन ही सेड दैट, यहाँ पे एक एग्जांपल ले लेते हैं। लेट अस से एक वर्कर ने 100 के जगह पे 90 यूनिट्स बना दिया, 90 यूनिट्स बनाया, तो उसके मन में क्या रहेगा, ठीक है ना, मैंने 100 यूनिट्स नहीं बनाए, 90 बनाए, तो कम से कम मुझे ₹10 के हिसाब से मुझे कितना मिलेगा? अगर ₹10 के हिसाब से करूंगा तो मुझे कितना मिल जाएगा? ₹900 मिल जाएगा ना। वो बोलेगा ठीक है, कल काम कर लेंगे, इसमें क्या फर्क पड़ता है। FW टेलर को ये पता है कि वर्कर्स इस तरह से सोचते हैं, तो FW टेलर क्या कहता है कि जिसने कम प्रोड्यूस किया है ना, उसका 20% पेमेंट कम कर दो। मतलब आपने ₹10 डिसाइड किया है ना कि 100 बनाया, तो अगर उसने कम बनाया है तो उसको ₹10 के हिसाब से नहीं, 20% कम कर दो। तो 20% अगर 10 का कम कर देंगे तो ये हो जाएगा 8, तो उसकी पेमेंट कितनी होगी? 720। मतलब वो सोच रहा था कि मुझे तो 900 मिलेगा, लेकिन FW टेलर कहता है नहीं, क्योंकि उसने स्टैंडर्ड्स को पूरा नहीं किया, सो पे हिम ओनली ₹720। एंड देयर मे बी द वर्कर who might have produced 110 units, right? Another worker have produced 110 units. अब इसकी कैलकुलेशन कैसे की जाएगी? जो उसके 100 यूनिट्स हैं उसको ₹10 के हिसाब से पेमेंट मिल जाएगी, तो कितना हो जाएंगे उसको? 1000। और उसने 10 यूनिट्स एक्स्ट्रा बनाए हैं ना, तो 10 यूनिट्स एक्स्ट्रा के लिए उसको और एक्स्ट्रा पैसा मिलेगा। इसको यहाँ पे 10 के जगह पे हम लोग ₹12 का पेमेंट करेंगे, तो ये कितना पेमेंट उसको एक्स्ट्रा मिल जाएगा? ₹120। दैट मीन्स ओवरऑल दिस वर्कर एट द एंड ऑफ द डे will take away 1120। I hope you are understanding what I am trying to say. FW टेलर ने ये कैलकुलेशंस दिया है, 20% कम कर दो अगर किसी ने कम प्रोड्यूस किया है, और अगर किसी ने ज्यादा प्रोड्यूस किया है तो जितना ज्यादा किया है उसके ऊपर उसको 20% ज्यादा दे दो। तो 100 तो उसके मिनिमम ₹10 के हिसाब से आएंगे ही, जितने उसने ज्यादा प्रोड्यूस किए हैं उसके ऊपर 20% ज्यादा दे दो। अब ये जो ₹120 इसको एक्स्ट्रा मिल रहा है ना, वो यहां से सेविंग्स हो गई ना हमारी, राइट? इसका ये पर्सन का हम लोगों ने पेमेंट कट किया था ना, काफी सारा पैसा उसका कट कर दिया, तो वो पेमेंट उसे हमने यहाँ पे दे दी, तो भी फायदा है कंपनी को। तो अब क्या होगा, नेक्स्ट डे पे दिस वर्कर हु हैज प्रोड्यूस्ड लेस will try to reach out at least the units which is supposed to produce। यही तो चाहिए, साइंटिफिक मैनेजमेंट थियरी का यही तो पर्पस था, that productivity should get increased with the minimum input, और ये होता है, that is low wage rate and high wage rate। I hope you are understanding this। You can put yes if you have understood this calculation। I hope you have understood that। So I am proceeding further। The another technique which he has given, that is called as functional foremanship। Functional foremanship means he said that there should be strict supervision। Strict supervision, each and every worker should be supervised at each and every level। इसने एक्चुअली 2 लेवल्स बताए थे, प्लानिंग लेवल एंड प्रोडक्शन लेवल, एंड ही सेड दैट एट प्लानिंग लेवल देयर शुड बी 4 सुपरवाइजर्स, and at product level also there should be 4 supervisors, so there should be total 8 supervisors or 8 functional foremanship to control over the activities of the workers। so अगर workers ज्यादा टाइम के लिए ब्रेक ले लेते हैं, ज्यादा एब्सेंट रहते हैं, तो उनके ऊपर नजर रखने के लिए लोग रहते हैं। तो जाहिर सी बात है, when someone is having the conscious that somebody is continuously watching at him and preparing the reports and all, they will work very hard and they will give you the maximum output. And that is what we are looking for. So that is functional foremanship. That was a technique which was given by F.W. Taylor. And the last technique is mental revolution. I'll be just writing few lines over here. Mental revolution means converting the negative, approach of workers. Somehow you see that they are not having negative approach towards the organization. You see that they are having positive approach. Somehow you see that workers are thinking for the organization. ऐसा नहीं कि वो सिर्फ अपनी wages के लिए काम कर रहे हैं, but you have to see that they are having positive approach towards the workplace and they are helping you to achieve your objective. Because unless this feeling is not coming in their mind, they will never help you to achieve your targets and objectives. So this is what he said, that there should be mental revolution. For that also he has given some techniques, like you listen to their problems, try to convince them that the organization is for them, try to give them additional bonuses if company is earning extra profits. अगर कंपनी ज्यादा प्रॉफिट्स अर्न करता है ना, तो आप वर्कर्स के साथ शेयर करो, तो वर्कर को ऐसा लगेगा कि अरे हमने इतनी मेहनत की थी तो उसका कुछ हिस्सा हमें भी मिला है. सो उनका जो नेगेटिव अप्रोच है वो पॉजिटिव में कन्वर्ट हो जाएगा. दैट इज कॉल्ड एज मेंटल रिवॉल्यूशन. सो दिस एंटायर थिंग इज कॉल्ड एज scientific management theory, which was invented in 1900 by F.W. Taylor with the purpose of increasing the productivity with the minimum input, right? That was the purpose. And this theory can be classified under two headings. One is principles of scientific management theory. Another one is techniques of scientific management theory. Principles means the rules and regulations which has been explained by F.W. Taylor. He said that these are the suggestions which you have to follow. And then he has given even these techniques how to develop the productivity or how to increase the productivity of the workers. Okay, so I hope you have understood this entire lecture carefully, and this will help you to score good marks also. Okay, so with this note, I just stop sharing the screen and we shall continue in our next period from the next topic. Okay.